Thank you, everybody. By the way, with all of the contributions we've done on making the global internet multilingual for the last 20 plus years, I think somebody else came in and with his little finger, he truly democratized the internet. And I think his name is Steve Jobs. And by creating apps, he truly revolutionized the internet. 10 years ago, we were under 1 billion internet users. It was actually an English internet deployed globally. Today, we have more than 3.5 billion internet users, and that's thanks to him, so I won't take all the credit. Thank you very much. First of all, the title might confuse many of you, and not surprisingly. Incidentally, in all the audience here, who is not technical, raise your hand. Wow, 1%, half a percent. If you're thinking you're going to get a technical talk here today, well, guess what? You're in for a shock. Can your organization survive a Poli-Cyber breach? And your first question is, let's see if I can make this work. What is Poli-Cyber? Well, Poli-Cyber, by definition, is cyber attacks perpetrated or inspired by extremist organization groups like ISIS, Daesh, and rogue states. Now, if any of you have witnessed what they've been doing in the traditional sense, many of you may already know about what they've been doing in the cyberspace as well. And the potential is potentially catastrophic. So, this is not looking good, but anyway, what's the key difference between conventional threats and Poli-Cyber? Okay, well, let's put it in a nutshell. Poli-Cyber, let me start with conventional. Conventional is everything we've been seeing under the sun for years. So from the kids who hacked, well, let me get to the scaremongering in a moment. So from the kids who actually hacked TalkTalk, who came into play, to those who are coming in for ransomware, from the credit card to industrial espionage, even when the Chinese and the Americans hack each other, we treat this as conventional. Fundamental reason is, and that's where the differentiation from Poli-Cyber is, the objective is not to destroy the target, it's something else. The minute you get into Poli-Cyber and the motivation, which is the key component, if I can get that to show up, motivation. The key component of what motivates the Poli-Cyber hacker, and that's different from the conventional threat, is they want to cause maximum damage to the target or destruction of it for publicity, for recruitment drive, and to show that they are there to be reckoned with. So, is it making sense to everybody? Raise your hand if it's making sense. Okay, all right, good. Good audience, fantastic. Now, why this is critical? First of all, when we talk about cyber threats and cyber terrorism, or even terrorism in general, a lot of people say, well, you're scaremongering. Well, you may be scaremongering, but you know, if you can validate what the threats are, you're not scaremongering, you're educating, and it's only by education where people will make a difference in doing the right thing. So if you think we're scaremongering, this is what the experts and the media have reported. Anybody knows who this face is? Anybody raise your hand? Who's that? Huh? Actually, no, this is the chief of the GCHQ, Hannigan. So that's the chief of the chief expert in the UK. Why this is relevant? This is June 2016. Terrorist groups acquiring cyber capability to bring major cities to a standstill, warns chief of GCHQ. Journalist Abdelbari Atwan is the gentleman who actually interviewed Osama bin Laden in 1996. In his book, The Digital Caliphate, he writes, Cyber Caliphate Division that successfully attacked the US government central command. Successfully, that's the key word. So, another thing from Hannigan, determined hackers can get in, they can cause damage, can the business or the public keep going? You know where I'm going with this, by the way? And the head of NATO, look what he said. The threat landscape is vast, from malware, hacktivists, to organized criminals, and state-sponsored attacks, things that we thought impossible can be done. Are we short on time?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wrap it up. So, in a nutshell, these are all examples of what's been deployed in the public domain. But the truth of the matter here is, decision makers, your bosses, are still not getting that their survivability is at stake. So when these people do hack, and it all depends on how determined they are, they're not coming into play. So in time, and some of this stuff has already happened, but we haven't seen it in the public domain yet, but in time what you'll start seeing, organizations getting breached, and some of them are huge, and they may not survive. And you know what's not going to make them survive? It's not the hacker. This is not a nuclear bomb that will blow you up to smithereens. The damage they will cause to reputation, and the damage they will cause to trust in the users to come back to that particular company is what the market will do to actually gobble it up. So, at least this is really putting this in perspective, and the presentation will be posted, Sam. You can use it. TalkTalk, for example, another case study. We put a conservative estimate of TalkTalk, hard cost of that damage, in excess of £250 million, by the way. Kids did this, and they were not Poli-Cyber hackers. Imagine the same opportunity you give for somebody with a different motivation, what will they do to your organization? So the last question to ask ourselves is, oh, this is interesting, by the way. Who's heard about Ashley Madison? Raise your hand. Would any of you go and register and become a client of Ashley Madison and really wanted a bit of fun time anymore? No. This is what we call, this is conventional threat damaged, and as a matter of fact, there have been suicides as a result of this. This is a dead man walking. This is an organization already, Chapter 11 written all over it. And this is conventional threats, not even Poli-Cyber. So if anybody thinks that we're still talking about $1 million here, $1 million there, guess what? Wake up and smell the coffee. Go and tell your bosses survivability are at stake. Last but not least, so with all this, our chairman, CEOs, and board level decision makers listening, well, the information is out there. And what's making them not listen is we're still talking about the same old stuff. When you tell a decision maker who's not technical about cybersecurity, what do? Raise your hand. They just tell you, talk to my experts. Is that not correct? Because they don't understand it. The solution is you have to really make them think that this is about continuity of your business. Otherwise, you're going to get annihilated. On a last note, I thank you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, but later on, I'll be around. Thank you very much.